That's a big fish. I need you. I really need you. Come here. You are big. You are big, big, big. Just wish you guys could see this fight. That's a big, big fish. Big fish. Big, 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 big. Oh, I never get tired of hearing that.
I need this fish.
That was from catching smallies at the Kayak Adventure Series up in Wisconsin. And that was a giant. I caught my PB weight-wise like twice while I was up there. But the same dang length. But they were both over 4 pounds. But they were 19 and I think it was 19 and 3/4, 19 and 3/4 because I still haven't hit 20 yet. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of, we were going to do a Fishing with Gramps live, but we're doing an Everything Kayak Fishing live since I'm joined for a brief 30-minute session with Mr. Darren Wendell.
What's up?
Who's been super busy out being a full-time YouTuber. How's that going, dude?
Oh, man, it is going. This month, JT, crazy. So I track all my metrics and stuff. Like last year, I had around 8.7 million views. In the last 28 days, I've eclipsed that. Just in the last 28 days with like,
I think that's about my total channel over 10 years.
It's crazy.
Probably 8-point-something million views.
It's crazy. So the last 28 days have been bonkers. But
dude, you've been putting in the work and putting in the work and putting in the work. I mean, and that's what it takes. Whereas I might get a video out once a week, maybe a short here and there, a live, every now and then. Mr. Darren Wendell has been smashing it. You've been at this like hardcore for the last couple of years, and I'm glad to see that really, really paying off because you've been bringing a lot of new people into and educating a lot of people into something that we both really love. So, I mean, that's really awesome.
Yeah. Trying to make it happen. Been good.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to talk about an adventure that you and I are going on this weekend.
Oh.
But before we get into that, I've been telling some of the folks that have been, kind of paying attention to my Facebook and, know me personally, that I'm going to be away from YouTube for after this weekend, probably after a live with Chad on Monday with some KBF updates. I'm going to be away from YouTube for probably 6 to 8 weeks. I'm going to try to pre-stage some videos that I've done, doing some reviews and things like that. But there will be very little fishing. There will be no fishing content. It'll be like reviews that I've already shot that I just need to edit and throw up. I've got some kayak walkthroughs that I'm going to share for some people. But it's not that I'm taking a break from YouTube. I'm taking a break for work. So to explain what's going on, and Darren was probably laughing at this, at what I've got going on this week. I'm 3 years away from retiring from my federal service job. I'm an information systems security manager. If I don't get an early retirement offer, sometime this year with all the other stuff going on, then my plan is to retire from federal service in 3 years. That being said, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to continue to work as a cybersecurity contractor because they pay buku bucks. I know because I worked in that space before. But as part of that, I reached out for some feelers, and one of the first places I got reached back from is at Redstone Arsenal. And if you don't know where Redstone Arsenal is, it's a couple of miles from where Mr. Chad Hoover and KBF headquarters is, which is right next to Gunnersville, my favorite place on the planet to fish. So, oh me, oh my, if I had to take a contractor job, making a third more than what I'm making now at Gunnersville, where I would have to go down and spend the week down there and then come home and see Grant on the weekends until she retires, that would just be terrible.
I mean, you just have to do what you got to do.
There's a certification that is going to be the last, I swear, because I've been in IT since 1986, if that tells you anything. I've taken
5 years old.
I've taken probably 40 plus Microsoft certifications. I've got a bachelor's in information systems management. I have a master's in information assurance and cybersecurity. That's what I do. But The last certification test I'm ever going to take is probably I've been avoiding it because I have everything else. But it's one of those, if you have it, then you can pretty much write your own. And so I'm actually in a boot camp for that this week as we speak. It started Sunday and it ends on Friday. Now, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Darren and I will be joining up in Springfield, Ohio, 3 hours northeast of me, Thursday evening. So what does that mean? As soon as I get out of class on Thursday, me and the kayak and the truck are heading northeast to the Airbnb, and then I will finish my class Friday morning remotely. It's a virtual course. And then he and I will go fish Friday into the Friday session and then Saturday. But the reason for the break, the hide us away from YouTube, is to pass this certification. It's called the CISSP. The fail rate on it is very, very high. And so I am going to have to lock down and no watching YouTube videos, no creating YouTube videos, no
Boo.
focused 100% on getting ready to pass that test. Now, I'm giving myself a couple of mental breaks deal because that's, for me, it's a 2-day drive. It's like a 14 hours. Old Gramps drives, 8-10 hours tops and then sleeps and then does it again the next day. I do that when I go to Guntersville's a straight shot. If I go to Caddo in Texas and other places, I got to have that because I'm too old for that stuff. So I still plan on going to Minnesota. I still plan on being in Minnesota. I've got so many friends from Kayak Adventure Series in Minnesota, but there's a slight possibility. But I still plan on taking that because that'll breed that. I'm going to schedule my test for 2 weeks after that. So when I take that mental break and go fish and have fun, I come back and then I do my final cram for the test and then take the test 2 weeks after we get back from Minnesota. That'll give me time to recover, one final brain, and then go take the test. And then I'll be good from there. And then that'll be the last one I ever have to take. And that lets me help kind of write my ticket for everything else because I have everything else. You thought what was postponed? The APF live is postponed until Monday. This is a Gramps Everything Kayak Fishing because tonight we're with Mr. Darren Wendell because he and I are fishing the Kayak Adventure Series in Springfield, Ohio. Now, Darren, you've been out scouting around a little bit. I don't share all the juice and this. That. We're just going fishing and having fun, aren't we?
The juice is loose. I literally partnered through the KAS with the tourism board of Springfield and was there for a few days and scouted out the Mad River, did a video on that, and the reservoir in town, did a video on that. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. I kind of have, it sounds dumb. Like deep inside, like I want to win. We want to win. But at the end of the day, we don't have time to do the pre-work to actually pull off that win. Gramps is showing up literally the day of, and I haven't been able to do any pre-fishing when I did the video previous to pre-fishing rules, I haven't done any fishing around there, and I'll be showing up Thursday. And so this will be interesting. And so Gramps and I are on the phone today, and we're like, hey, I know one thing, we're just gonna have a freaking good time. And if you give us a lake, we can break it down and we might be able to pull this thing out. We're not idiots. But
we're just gonna go fishing. I mean, that's
we're gonna go fishing.
Yeah. So
I don't have FFS. Gramps, you do. We'll just be following each other around. I know a lot of teams that like split up, and you can go to like hours apart on the KS, right? You can go to Columbus if you wanted to, or Dayton if you wanted to. I think Gramps are going to stick on the same lake, and if one of us gets on them and call the other one over, make it happen, man.
Yeah, we're just, I mean, realistically, we looked at this as a great way to get together. Because if you think about it, Wendell fishing with Gramps, we had the whole Knucklehead Showdown, and that was a blast. And and it's so funny because I still get it. Like Philip McQuarrie, I'll see him and pop up every now and then, and he'll still give me, Team Wendell. And I'm like, yeah. But I mean, I love that because our families are so like interwoven because, you're next door and, and I still want to come up and spend some time and come up and hit them waters up there with you and
come on
and just have all that. But we was like Kayak Adventure Series right here, Springfield, Ohio.
Right in between us. Jason Emery
Yeah.
saying in the comments, make some muskies out there. I was actually talking to some locals. They say they expect the state record to come out of that reservoir. It's crazy.
But I did see, because I was looking at the lake you were talking about today, doing some YouTubing on it, and muskie, walleye, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got a chance at catching fish that I've never caught before. So yes, LMB Outlaw. The chat with Chad is next Monday. That one's still scheduled. You can still see it on my thing. But since he is filming something or doing something, he wasn't going to be back in time tonight, so we bumped that one, and we decided to do a quick one because, like I said, Darren and I are going to be fishing together this weekend. And yeah, Tom comes running in here because he heard muskie, and he was like, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Muskie. I actually
Shane
was
is
at
saying
the boat
CJ
ramp.
is a great muskie lake there. So yeah. And
Yep. So I was actually there at the boat ramp, and the division shows up and was putting in walleye. I was like, how many are you putting in? And he looked at, they always go look at their paper. I feel like that's what they always do. 224,000. I was like, holy crap. They dropped 224,000 fingerlings into that reservoir while I was there. I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool.
wow. Now, did you catch? I haven't even watched videos in a minute. Did you catch anything good there that you thought about?
I caught some. I mean,
Yeah.
I caught enough to be like, maybe, but not enough to be
Okay.
like, oh yeah, definitely coming back here.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about the Kayak Adventure Series, if those of you listening have never fished it before, like literally, it's not like everyone hops on the same body of water like most tournaments. You can fish rivers, you can fish lakes. There's literally hours and hours you could drive and be on legal waters. And so it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Well, I figure the way, like we said, Friday we go fish, we have a good time. We've got a spot for Saturday. That's that should be pretty good. I mean, I've been doing some scouting on that one too. And yeah, Diggs, this is the Springfield tourney. That's this weekend. So anybody who's in the Midwest,
you can still
come
sign
on
up.
out. There's going to be a whole lot of people there. Darren and I will be there. Drew Gregory, of course. Abby Abonanza, Jody Queen, John from Creek Fishing Adventures.
Oh, he's coming up.
Oh yeah, I saw him on the list. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. Of course, we have the crew from Dustin and those guys from Raccoon Creek Outfitters.
Hoy, yeah.
And it's always fun. And then there's a lot of Ohio hammers. Can't remember his first name, but last name is Isaacs. He's one of the guys that fishes the Bassmaster. I think he took third. Thinking about it, Seth took second, right? This guy took third. So that down at Del Hollow. So is Chris Isaacs? I mean, that might be something like that. But a lot of great people there. But again, they have it set up where you can basically fish. There's so many put-in points around about an hour or so from Springfield. So you can head to Dayton and hit the river. You can head north and hit lakes. You can hit, east and west. There's just all kinds of places. And it's like I told Darren, I was like, man, if I found a river, I might go hit some smallies. I might even do that Sunday morning on my drive home, since I ain't got to be in a hurry to get back.
I tried to scout a river for us, Gramps.
What's that?
I really did. I tried to scout a river for us. I did a 10-hour float through almost the center of Springfield on the Mad, and it was a blast. Had my buddy Paul from Cincy Fish Dudes come over.
That's when you took your Sun Dolphin, wasn't it?
That's when that's when I took the Sun Dolphin. My goodness, I need a different kayak. Anyways, she treated me well.
Yeah.
And Paul had one of the worst days of his life. He capsized his kayak for the first time. He lost his GoPro, lost his net, drowned his capsizing. He drowned his GoPro that was in a waterproof bag full of water. Then we fish a spot, we stand up, kind of fish. It was juicy, and we're about a half a mile down the river, and his iWatch goes off, and it's like, hey, dang it. It just said I left my phone behind, which is like a half a mile upstream. So he has to walk upstream. He finds it and literally in the water.
Jeez.
he slips and falls, goes under. So now he's sopping wet. And in the video, at that point, I'm at like 6 or 7 fish, and he's still at 0. He's never caught a brown trout. And I didn't realize they're so prolific in the Mad River. I was actually going for smallies with a small crankbait and was catching browns, and caught my personal best brown on that trip. It was a lot of fun, but not the smallies weren't large enough to win any tournament for the KS. That's for dang sure. At least in that section of the river.
Yeah, because I was talking to a friend of mine about like, GMR and stuff like that too. Of course, we kind of already predetermined where we're going to go because, we're past the gathering information. And, generally, if I was going to really show up someplace, I would reach out to people I know, like a month in advance and, hey, give me some ideas and stuff and places. And I'd go for pre-fish or whatever. But we kind of know where we're going anyway. And we're just, like I said, we're just gonna go have a good time. We're bringing some stogies, and we're just gonna have a good time. And I need it because this week it's just been a crash course of it's a lot of stuff I know, and it's a lot of other managerial type stuff, and my brain's gonna be fried, so I'm ready for the break. But yep, I will literally be as soon as I get out of class, truck will be hooked up tomorrow night when I get home from work, loaded, so that as soon as I get released from class, I will be heading up, Thursday to the B&B that we've got around the Springfield area, and then that way I can be there in time for the check-in because I think check-in dinners between like 6 and 8 or something, and then you have the Bass U brunch Friday morning, which I think Darren's going to go to. I'll be sitting in the B&B on my laptop in class. And then at lunchtime, when hopefully I get done with that, then I think our actual fishing starts around, I think lines in at 2 something. And then we fish till, I think, probably dark.
Yeah, I need to look at that. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, Bass U brunch is Friday morning.
Yeah.
I think you can check in then too. I think that's the last time you technically can check in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if I weren't able to get there until Friday, that's the last check-in.
Yeah. And pre-fishing ends on Thursday at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I like it.
Perfect. So if you're in the area, come join us. We're going to have a good time. And you don't have to go into the individual one if you don't want to. There's a team one, there's an individual, there's a micro bag. So I keep saying I'm going to win the Dink Master Award, but it's like every time I fish one of these, I can't catch anything smaller than 10 inches, which you gotta really focus on catching them dinks to take that big trophy home.
Hey,
so
just go to the Mad River. There's plenty of 6-inch smallies in there that love to eat your Ned rig. I'm sure.
I think John always has a knack for coming second or third in that one.
I was actually in his truck. I was fishing with him last month, and I looked down, and that micro belt that you win was sitting there. I was like, "What's this for?" It's like, I honestly don't remember. I was like, "Do you win that many tournaments that you don't know what it's for?" And so it was fun. Fun.
Shoot, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
So is anybody in the chat going to be there?
I saw Emery.
Yeah.
Did he say Emery's going to be there? I like it. Let's see what else.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've seen a lot of people talk about a lot of different places too, but yeah, it'd be a good time either way. And like I said, I'll be ready for the break, and just to have some fun. So I need to go back and sit down and watch your videos, because it's cool that you're working with, being able to go down to Springfield, and then do that kind of thing for them. And then I know Elvis and his boys are going to be there. That's awesome. I've run into Elvis every time, and I run into Elvis at most of them, and him and his sons can fish. But and then then we're going to be going up to his neck of the woods, up in Minnesota. And so that'll be a good time too. I was like, "Hey man, you got any juice for up there?" He's like, "Bro, just go pick any ramp that's on the map. You'll catch giant smallmouth." And I'm like, "That's all I needed to hear."
I like it. The Bass U brunch. I'm just looking at it now. It's on the water seminar by Russ Snyder.
Yeah.
And then Drew Gregory's doing one outside of Buck Creek.
Yeah, they did say that this was the first time that the place that they're going to be at, they're going to be able to do on the water seminars. So I guess where they're going to be is close enough where people can kind of gather around and pay attention to what they're saying while they are on the water. So that's going to be really interesting. But yeah, there's going to be all, and who knows who's going to jump in at the last minute too. But Jacob Dahl says, can he get a shout out? Oh yeah, of course you can. Shout out to everybody who wants a shout out on the show.
I love it.
Hooked on bass fishing.
Do you know how many people are signed up for this thing, JT?
Was it like 60 or something last time?
I'm trying to figure out how to
I got to get you on the join the team Knucklehead too, but you have to log into the website to actually do that. You can't do it in the app.
Okay, I got your text. I'll go do that. My bad.
Okay, yeah.
My bad.
You'll see
you know
the
what?
team.
This will be the first time I've ever used Tourney X.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But you definitely want to practice with it. And
Good thing
Bass says there's
you.
2 separate chats for each channel. That doesn't surprise me. I can see them all in our feed, but you guys might not see everything. So who knows?
There you go. Yeah.
Normally it does like a mashup
on my Facebook
so.
page, and it shows it's on mine through the link,
right.
and so that's why it's all linked to Diggs as well. I love it.
There is my son Hick Dog, who is the father of my grandbabe Peyton.
Oh, cute.
Sweet pea. Any advice for someone trying to start?
We both are like, YouTube channel? I got advice. You go first, JT.
Grind. I mean, realistically, it depends. So, like Darren and I, you'll see and notice our content. It can be similar at times, and it can be completely different at times. I don't treat it as a job. I don't know that I ever get to that point. I'm the dude who makes the videos I want to make when I want to make them. If there's a reel or rod I want to talk about, that's what I do. If there's somebody who's like a sponsor that I have or a partner, I'll talk about their stuff, but I won't partner with them if I think they're crap. There's been stuff that I've used before, and then I did, like great videos on them. And then I come back and said, well, that was a complete piece of garbage. I don't recommend it, and it could be rods, reels. I've had some reel companies that, that I've known the product managers very well. And I just couldn't give up my beloved Shimano's because that's what I've been fishing with since the early 90s. So, I had a friend at Lew's, and I've tried their rods. Couldn't stand the rods. Sorry, Lew's fans. They're just, I don't know how pros fish with those things. I'm sorry. But there's so many more for the same price point or less that are at least sensitive and you can feel them. But that's
I know how they fish with them, JT. They fish with them with a $50,000 check in their back pocket. That's how they do it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Hey-o.
and there's and I know the difference. And so when I make a video, it's about something I generally believe in, or I'm doing a first look on something that I might be trying. St. Croix offered to work with me, but and I liked a lot of their stuff. They're made in America, but I've had more than one break fighting a fish. And if I can't trust something, then I don't always come back and bash it, because sometimes when it's a first gen or a first release, and trust me, rods can snap because you never know where that blank could have got banged on something in shipment and travel, going from the factory to the store.
Back your truck.
Yeah, I mean, just, one of my biggest pet peeves when I watch the pros, dude, you'll see them catch a fish and then they'll just drop their rod and hand it to the guy to weigh, and that rod will hit the gunnel of the boat. I'm like, you weaken that rod every time you do that. You have some people talk about how they'll set the hook and a jig will come back and hit the blank, and then sometime in the near fishing trip, they go to set the hook and the rod breaks. Well, you think it's any different by dropping that rod against the metal gunnel or fiberglass of a boat? No. So, but back to the point of starting a YouTube channel, start it and do it. Your videos are going to suck. We all have them. You don't get better at talking to a camera until you get better at talking to a camera. And that takes time, because Darren and I can sit here and look straight into a camera and talk like we're talking to a person. And that's through repetition, practice, and just doing it over and over and over. I bet if the good Lord was keeping track of blooper reels from every video we've ever shot, it would be comedy gold, because there's so much that gets cut out and you see the finished product. Editing
makes us look awesome, by the way.
What's that?
Our finished product make us look awesome. If you saw the rough cuts, oh my gosh, you guys think we're idiots.
Yeah, but people don't realize too, that I've got a teleprompter that I can hook up to the front of my camera, and I've got more cameras than I will ever use. But honestly, you can't buy your way to a successful YouTube channel. You got to be original. You got to be, and again, the flow takes time, but you can start with a phone and a little white light and, build your channel up. If you would have told me I would have had 30,000 plus watching my channel, I would have laughed if you said I would ever get to 1,000. But I mean, sometimes you just find your groove and then go from there. And I watched Darren do it. I watched Jay over at Bearded Dad do it. Bearded Paddlers coming up. There's a lot of people out there that are making good stuff. But I will say this: if you pick your style, if you're wanting to do a fishing channel, and I'll tell you, there's two different styles, and Darren will probably agree with me. There are people that just fish, aka Christine Fisher, Greg Blanchard, Andy Yak Angler, guys like that. They just make fishing content because some people just want to. That's who I watch. I'll throw it up on the big screen and they'll take me away. And then sadly I kind of do a hybrid. I like to do reviews on stuff because I have a great partner that lets me borrow rods and reels like I'm checking a book out of a library. But then you have people who teach. Darren is one of those. He talked about your life jackets, what kind of kayaks, crates, the gear that we need. Does his research on things and brings you an educated video to help you make a better decision, save some money, things like that. So maybe, see what kind of works. Maybe do a couple of each different types. And then if you get some traction, go with it. Now I'll talk to Mr. Full-time YouTuber because
I mean,
he's been there,
really
done
quick.
that.
Your first, they always say your first is your worst. And so what I do is to recommend, hey, go over to Think Media. This is what I did. Go over to Think Media. They have millions of followers, and they literally teach people how to create YouTube channels in ever-changing landscape and do what they say. That's what I did. And here I am. You just got to grind at it. It took me 4 years, and I'm still hemorrhaging cash every month. So it'd probably technically take me 5 years to go full-time, maybe 5.5 years. But yeah, that's what it's going to take. So here's my journey. Wasn't like mine was just post what I'm learning along the way.
Yeah.
And so I'm just now starting getting to fishing videos, starting to do some vlog style videos. I think there's a larger appetite for longer form and longer videos in general, but also my bread and butter are the instructionals. And I love doing those. I love doing the research and I learn along the way. So been a good time, but great question. 100%.
Yep. That's awesome.
So I'm looking at this. Go ahead.
Go. No. I'm just.
No. I was looking at this. I was changing the discussion topic. So if you wanted to talk more about the discussion, go ahead. I was going to talk about the tournament because I think it's interesting. It's like this. There's like seems like there's 18 different ways to win, right? You got the individual. Which are you doing the individual? I think you are.
Yeah, I jumped in that just because. What if I get lucky? You know what I'm saying?
There you go. I'm not doing it. I'm just doing the on the budget angler.
No, I got you.
Like they get the micro finesse, micro back division.
Someday you'll learn about tax write-offs, Darren. You should know.
It's an LLC. I know tax write-offs. It's still
I know
costing me some front capital. They have the contingency bonus. They got the big bass. They have the Century Belt, the tackle for trash. You can win there. They got raffles. They have the Dark Horse tackle upgrade. And anybody jumps the most places from day 1 to day 2 wins something. They have the Top Lady Angler Award presented by Women's Fishing Federation. And so there's like, you're picking up trash, you're using GoPros, you're using Naqua batteries. And if you win more money and you win bonuses. And so this is it's fun. So if you're not good at fishing, you're just good at picking up trash. You can win, folks.
Yeah,
you can win.
Yeah. But and that's my thing too, because anybody can catch big bass. Because any cast you make, you could be that dude who wins that big old belt one time. I
got a story for you.
Oh, good.
So I just posted this short. So I took my brother down to the strip mines where I like fishing. We go camping every year. It's a blast. My brother goes fishing maybe 5 times a year, maybe. And whenever he's doing it, it's with me. And so I take him out. So every once in a while, we'll go like on a 4-day trip to the middle of Pennsylvania for smallmouth fishing and wading the rivers. That's a blast. Every other year we go down the strip mines and we fish down there and we camp down there. So I take him out and we just have a joke. He just loves fishing the wacky worm. I mean, when you don't fish it but once, 5 times a year, it's just like his confidence bait. I was like, hey, if you want to catch a bunch of fish, here you go. Homie has a yum dinger on. Red, blue, green pumpkin, red fleck. I bought they're on sale for like $20 for 100 of them on Amazon. They run those deals every once in a while.
I think I bought that pack when you posted it on sale.
Heck yeah, I love it. So I have him on this. I have him on this Lose rod that I don't even use anymore, and a mock something spinning reel. As funny as we just get done saying we don't use anything Lose. Actually, I don't think I do anymore. I've kind of upgraded. I started with them, nonetheless. Side story. And so we're fishing. He is on number 11 on the same worm on the yum dinger. And this thing's not ripping off. And so he's just laughing. He's now 11 fish, and he's getting ready. He's like, hey, I think I'm gonna go back and start cooking dinner for us. My brother's like 3 or 4 years older. He's like, I'm just gonna fish this just for the next couple more minutes. And so he cuts in front of me on my line. And he catches this fish and it jumps out of the water. I was like, bro, that's a donkey. If you land that, it's going to be your personal best. I was like, don't flip that mother. I'm looking at this thing. It's splashing. I was like, that's huge. I mean, huge. He pulls this thing out of the water and I measure it 21.75. And I'm fishing with a buddy of mine, and he fishes all the time with me. He's been fishing for years, fishes just as much as I do. And his personal best is 21.5. So my brother comes out, fishes maybe 5 times a year, catches a PB in front of my friend who's been fishing for years, and his PB length is 21.5. It's like, oh my gosh. I just kept bringing it up all weekend long. I loved it. 5 pounds, 6 ounces. I was so proud of him.
There you go, man.
Bro. I was like, he went from like a 3 pound personal best to a 5.6. I was like, homie, you didn't upgrade well. It's gonna be really hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
21.75 when you fish 5 times a year. So there you have it. Freaking yum dinger.
It's a great story. But again, I mean, in people, people wonder how you can. It's like, how can you go fish the same lake, doing the same thing, and that because there's a bigger fish in that lake that I haven't caught yet. And I'm fishing this lake because I know there's bigger fish than I've ever caught there. Because and my brother kind of put the smack down on me about that this year, because I would run from lake to lake to lake to lake. I'm just driving all. It's like, bro, all the big bass are right here a mile from where I live. You keep running all over looking for the bigger fish, but we know there's big fish in here because we see them caught in the boat tournaments.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I know, but. He's like, let's just hit this lake until we catch one of these 7-pounders. So, yeah, I mean, he's 100% right, because he's like, why should I bother going anywhere else when I can just go out here every week and put up, 90 whatever inches and compete with anybody else? I'm not running all over the state. Hey, I can't afford it. I'm just going to keep it simple. But all the big bass are right here. I'm like, okay.
It's funny. They always talk about boats running over fish to find fish. I mean, we drive by fish to find fish. It's probably even worse. But it took me.
Oh, yeah.
I fish a variety of different lakes around here, but one that I fish a lot took me 5 years to find that 7-pounder.
Yeah.
And so they're in there. I mean, there's not a whole lot of them, but you finally dialed in the lake and finally got them. But it took 5 years. I mean, I've got
and that's literally we're in the year 2 of doing that exact same thing. So, yeah, it's just like pick one and really learn it, But and that's still the fun thing when we get out and go do the stuff nationally or with the Adventure Series and Bassmaster. And then we go visit other lakes and go down to Guntersville once a year for the NC, go have some fun doing that. But, there's no point driving all around when there's good stuff, 50 minutes away.
It's funny. I'm always getting off the water, and there's always someone else getting off the water at the same time. And of course, the question everyone asks, hey, how'd you do? They're always like, oh, this lake sucks, blah, 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 blah. How'd you do? It's like, oh, yeah, this lake sucks. I mean, sucks. I'm never coming back to this lake ever again, except tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. Yeah. I always catch nothing when someone asks me, by the way. Yeah. Always. 0. Skunked. Absolutely
why I
none.
keep coming back here.
I've come here the last 3 weeks every day, caught nothing. So,
And I'll be back tomorrow.
And I'll be back tomorrow at 4:30 a.m. Eastern. Oh, so good.
Oh man, all right, bro. I said I wouldn't keep you late, and
Yeah.
I've still. For those who didn't know, my truck and house got hit by a tornado that came back through in April. So I just got my truck back out of the shop. Bless my Silverado. But yeah, I'm out here in the middle of trying to put the new soft topper on it because they ended up replacing the rear quarter panels, the driver's side doors, the roof. I didn't know you could replace the roof. When the dude calls and says, "Hey, we're going to cut the roof off your truck," I'm like, "Wait, what?" But apparently, yeah, you
They
can take the
totally?
top off and unbolt it, and then they put a new one on, and then my whole hood and front end from where the tree landed on it. But yeah, finally got that back. So I got my soft topper replacement, which because I throw a lot of my stuff in the bed of my truck when I travel around. So when I called Darren, I was like, "I'm going live at 8." And then I didn't think he'd, I figured he'd be busy. And I was like, I'll just go do a quick live. But we were like, hey, let's hook up and talk about it. But
I was supposed to have my podcast on at 8:30. People are probably confused. It's
I
8:38.
know.
But my buddy, my guest got sick, and so here we are. It's interesting.
Yeah,
My brother just got clipped from behind, in his truck that he bought for $800 like 11 years ago, and they sent him like a $6,000 check. I was like, it doesn't usually happen like that.
I think my truck was like 14,000 to repair, which I was glad that they covered all that. So thank you, USAA. And then USAA is also putting a brand new roof and gutters on my house because the other part of that tree that landed on my roof poked a bunch of holes in it. So
Yikes.
I'm sure people laugh when they drive by because I've got a bunch of sandbags, bags of sand, and I think kitty litter up plugging holes with plastic bags. Thank you, Hick Dog, for climbing up there and doing that for me if you're still in the chat. But yeah, so I've got my roofers. I just gave them a check for a bunch of money the other day so that they can they can get the stuff ordered so we can get a new roof on the house as well. So
There you
that's
go.
nice. I mean, I was gonna have to fork over some money for a new roof in the next few years anyway. So the good
Ooh.
Lord's like, here, how about now? I was like,
I'll
okay,
just poke a few holes in that for you.
yep, take care of that roof for you real quick. So yep,
Looks like
but yeah,
everyone
we're
their
doing all
mom's
that.
live right now. You got AAA's live, Dark Horse Tackle's live. I'm usually
Yeah,
live, and you're live. Is anybody not live right now?
yeah. Yeah, if I had better planning, I would have went live at 7, but that's normally when I do it just because I try to get around to everybody else's stuff. And I generally I'm going to bed by 9:30 anywho. So I will not keep you long, folks. Stay tuned for Darren and
Our
I to be
last
posting
place
stuff on
finish.
the Instagrams and Facebook while we're in Springfield. And again, if you're in the Midwest, come join us. Have a good
Come on.
time. If you can't fish it, come see us and say hi. I'm gonna have stickers and all the good stuff. So come by and see us. We'll be smoking stogies at the B&B and then chilling on the water, having a good time. That's for sure.
Heck yes.
All right,
Don't be
brother man. I'm
looking
gonna let
for
you
us
get
up
out of
in
here.
first, second, or third place on team division. We're gonna be we're probably gonna be down the line a bit.
Yeah,
But we know we
well,
had a
I
good
saw
time.
Abby and Jody was gonna be here. There's a lot of hammers in your state, bro. So
Just kidding. We're gonna give it our
it's gonna
best.
be fun. But hey, you never know. We might stick them. Or if one of us catches a big one or a PB, hey, who knows? We might be bringing some non-bass fishing content if one of us smacks into one of those muskies
Oh,
or big
smack a
walleyes.
muskie.
So
Wouldn't that be sweet? We'll just
I
go
think my
trolling for
PB
muskie.
walleye is about like this big that I caught up in Wisconsin. So I can have a new PB by the end of the thing.
I
So
love it.
yep. But
All right,
yeah,
brother.
we'll get out of here. And like I said, I will be live on Fishing with Gramps channel with Chad Hoover on Monday. He's got a lot of KBF updates to share and do some drawings because I'm not even going to tell you what all he's been up to. Lots going on. And he'll have some stuff to share Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. And so we will do that. But again, if you're in Springfield area, come see Darren and I. Come hang out at the Kayak Adventure Series. And yeah, for all you guys ready to go hit them other lives, have at it, and we'll let you get out of here.
You guys have a good one.
All right, brother. I will see you Thursday about dinner
All right, man.
time.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
All right, everybody.
right.
Get outside when you can and make some memories. One cast at a
At a
time.
time. There you go, brother. You guys have a good one.